Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today will be episode one of our unnamed session, discussion, podcast, whatever you like to call it. I'm going to be really honest that I am too lazy and I'm not creative to come up with a name. So, for the time being, this will be an unnamed podcast. But today's Christmas Day. So, Merry Christmas to everyone. I hope your Christmas has been very well. And I'm going to give it to Kyle now. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Kyle. Merry Christmas, everyone. You may remember me from last time we talked about the No Way Home anniversary, and I'm just gonna be here with Kelvin talking about various topics that we came up with, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah, so I was bored and I also wanted to make like another discussion video because I find these very fun to do. So today's topics will be our top 10 films of 2022, our game of the year with honorable mentions on the side, our most anticipated movies of 2023. We will talk about our most anticipated game of next year, and then our last topic will be on the DC superhero news talk, everything that's been going on behind the scenes with James Gunn and etc. Henry Cavill. So we're gonna say that for last because I feel like we're going to be talking about that the most. I'm assuming, but I'm not too sure. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to get to my top 10 films of 2022. But before I get to that, I just want to say that I have not seen every film this year of 2022. So as of Christmas Day, consider this my list of 2022 for now. But if you want to see my updated list, you could just go on my Letterbox account, which I'll link below. But my name on Letterbox is Killa316. That is KILLAH 316. And now I'm gonna get to my top 10 films. So at number 10, I have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. It's pretty self-explanatory, but this was a great film and arguably the best movie of Phase 4. It was powerful, it was very emotional, it was strong, and it arguably had the best performances of the entire MCU. So that's number 10 for me. Number 9 is Sonic 2 the Hedgehog. I really love and adore this film. I love the first one. The first one came out the week of my birthday back in 2020, so I have a soft spot for this movie, and I really love Knuckles and Tails. It was just a great animated film. Number 8 is The Menu. This one is pretty self-explanatory, but I found it to be kind of funny at times, but very serious and suspenseful with amazing performances. Number 7, I have Prey. This is a prequel to the Predator film, and it's finally the second like a second great movie in the Predator universe because all the other films that I have seen are just straight up terrible. And this movie is amazing. It's action packed. I love the visuals. I love the cinematography, and it has a female or a woman as the main character. She's strong, she's badass. I just loved her, and yeah, it was just an overall great film. Number 6, Top Gun Maverick. This is like decades in the making, but this was an IMAX experience, a great one. I definitely recommend Top Gun Maverick if you want like that theater experiences, even if it's not in theaters no more. But it was up there. Number 5, Nope. This was the first Jordan Peele film I saw. It was one of the most unique films I've seen. I really enjoyed it, especially the IMAX scenes. It was very suspenseful. It was visually beautiful. It had great performances. It had good jump scares. Just a great story with great characters and an interesting plot. Number 4, I have Glass Onion: A Knives Out Mystery. I just saw this like a few days ago. This film was just a delight. It was entertaining. It was funny. I just loved everything about the film. Number 3 is Avatar: The Way of Water, or Avatar 2. I saw this with Kyle in IMAX, and that was probably the best theater experience I've had this year. I mean, you wanna talk about the best looking film ever made, it's Avatar. That was just an experience, Pandora, the world. I love the new characters they introduced. I was just so blown away. It was breathtaking. I was just in awe. It was just incredible. Number 2 is Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is my best film of 2022, but this is my second favorite movie of 2022. This was just something I haven't seen before, and it was just really incredible. And number 1 for my favorite movie of 2022 is The Batman. I don't even know what to say about this movie. This is one of the best superhero films I've ever seen, arguably the best superhero film. I am so happy with what Matt Reeves has done in this universe. Robert Pattinson is amazing as Batman. Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Paul Dano as the Riddler. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I love the way Gotham looked. I just love the cinematography, the visuals, the tone. The Gotham has a personality, has an identity. The Batmobile, just everything about this film was just amazing. It reminds me of Seven, directed by David Fincher. It was like it's a detective film. It's crime. Batman is known as the world's greatest detective. It's just a great movie overall. I don't see any superhero film being good as this movie for a while. So those are my top favorite films of 2022. And now I'm gonna give it to Kyle.
Okay, guys, my list is going to be a little bit different from Kelvin's. I'm going to be going from 1 to 10, so top to bottom. Number one, my favorite movie this year, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Ah, man, I love the message of this movie. I love the visuals of this movie. Shout out to, I think I'm saying her name right, Michelle Yoe. Is that how you say it, Kelvin? I hope I'm saying your name right, but yeah, she was amazing. I love the kids in the movie. I love just everyone. Everyone was great. Number two, the Batman. Like Kelvin said, everything about it. I agree with everything he said. It was a fantastic movie. Robert Pattinson is great as Batman. I love the cast. I love the visuals. I love the sound. Saw it at Dolby with Kelvin, and it was just a great experience. Number four, I got Nope. Look, Jordan Peele is an amazing director, and anytime you see Jordan Peele come out with a movie, you know it's going to be heat. And man, did he not disappoint! I thought it was a unique take on. I'm not going to spoil, but I thought it was a unique take on that topic. Um, Number five, I got Avatar: The Way of Water. I saw it a couple days ago with Kelvin, as you heard him say. Great movie, great visuals. It was just a good time, you know. Number six, Bullet Train. This movie was very funny. It was entertaining. The action was good. The acting was good. Like everything about this movie, it was just a fun movie to watch. Um, Number seven, I got the Guardian special, Guardians of the Galaxy special. This was just a fun special. Um, Done. I thought it was really funny. I thought the characters were really well done. It was just great. Number eight, I got Werewolf by Night. Look, when it comes to the MCU, a lot of things lately have been kind of rocky. I think Werewolf by Night was very well done. Visually was good. Michael Giacchino directed it, so the music was good. I like the black and white filter. It was great. Number nine, I got Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I watched this movie 3 times. I don't think as highly of it as when I first saw it, because when I first saw it coming off of the No Way Home hype back in May, I was like, "Oh man, it's a 9 out of 10." I scaled it down a lot because I have issues with the movie. I'm not gonna get into the issues now, but like I still like the movie though. Sam Raimi did amazing with the visuals, and he was redeemed after Spider-Man 3, in my opinion. So that's number nine. And number 10, I got Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear was great. Chris Evans did an amazing job. It was just a fun movie. Now, this list is a little bit rocky because I haven't seen a lot of films this year. Now, I did see a lot, but I see like the most popular. There's a lot of films that I didn't mention. Like I thought Black Adam was cool. I liked Uncharted. The Menu I saw with Kelvin was pretty good, and I saw a little bit others that not coming to my head right now. But I thought this year was really, really good when it comes to movies. I had a really good time seeing all of them, most of them. And yeah, that's my list. I'm gonna let Kelvin take it over now.
Your list is pretty interesting. I didn't think you was gonna have that much superhero stuff on your list to keep it real with you though.
This list is kind of unorganized. It's the first things that came to my head. I probably should have done a couple of Google searches because, to be honest, there's a lot more. Like Sonic 2 is not in here, and I honestly would put Sonic 2 way over Guardians. But yeah, this is just on the fly.
Of course. That sounds exactly like Kyle to do it on the fly right there.
You know me.
I mean, cause like for me, I only got like what 2 superhero films on my list. And to be honest, like I think if I would have seen a couple more films this year, I don't even think Wakanda Forever would have made my top 10 list. But that's all right though, because I still enjoyed that film. But I think 2022 was no doubt an interesting year for movies because I had a great time seeing most of these films. There were some that just wasn't it, but that's whatever though. So on to the next topic. We're gonna talk about our most anticipated movies of 2023. Now, I'm gonna say my list, but keep in mind my list is in no particular order. I'm just naming my top 5 most anticipated. So I have Creed 3. If anyone knows me, I love Creed 1 and 2, especially the first one because Ryan Coogler directed it. And that was like one of the most inspiring like films I've ever seen. And it's one of those movies where it's like it motivates you, inspires you to want to like do good for yourself. And it would kind of like inspire me to like want to like make movies at some point or like do like my own little thing on the side or whatever because it was just one of those films that I just had a great time watching. Now, this is probably my most anticipated. I'm not sure yet, but it's Oppenheimer. And we all know that Christopher Nolan is arguably the best director alive today. And when his movies come on IMAX, it's an experience. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. I got John Wick 4. If you have seen the John Wick films, then you know why I'm excited for John Wick 4. Dune Part 2. Dune, I felt was a great movie. I really enjoyed it a lot. So that's gonna be on my most anticipated. And number 5, not number 5, but last but not least is Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. I just love Spider-Man, and this movie looked like it's going to be better than the first one because Into the Spider-Verse was just one of the best animated films I've seen, and we've seen so many different versions of Spider-Man on the poster and the trailer, like Spider-Man Unlimited, PlayStation Spider-Man, or Insomniac Spider-Man. And the one that got me hyped the most, and yes, I'm just gonna say, it, is the Spectacular Spider-Man. That's my favorite adaptation of the character. But yeah, those are my top 5 most anticipated films of 2023.
Um, yeah, my top five. I'm gonna go from top to bottom. Number one, Across the Spider Verse. I loved Into the Spider Verse. It was a great movie. It had a great message, and the visuals were great. And this one is looking better than the first one, hopefully. Number two, Oppenheimer. I'm a poli sci major, so I know all the history about like the making of the atomic bomb, and I think its name is J. Robert Oppenheimer. I know how every all that happened, and man, like it's gonna be great, and I can't wait to see what Christopher Nolan does. I can't wait to see his take on the whole story. Number three, you might be surprised at this one, but the Barbie movie. I can't lie. I'm hyped to see Margot Robbie and Ryan Reynolds being
Ryan
that,
Gosling.
or Ryan Gosling, excuse me, being that. It looks like it's gonna be mad funny. Number four, Guardians 3. I saw the trailer, and I'm not really that hyped for a lot of the new MCU films like that next year. Like, I'm not really hyped like that at all. But after seeing the Guardians 3 trailer, I'm like, all right, like it looks like it could be really emotional. So I put that in there. And number five is Dune Part 2. I knew nothing about the first Dune, seeing it, and when I saw it, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So I can't wait to see Dune Part 2. Yeah, I can't wait to see more Zendaya because she's gonna be in the film, and I just can't wait to see it.
All right, so I got a question. What do you think will be the best movie of next year, though? Do you have like a guess with that?
Man, I don't know. It could be Oppenheimer. I mean, Creed 3. That's Creed 3 and John Wick 4. I forgot to put on my list, but those I'm hyped for those two. Um, might be Oppenheimer. Nah, I'm excluding superhero films, but it might be Oppenheimer. I don't know. That movie just looks like it has a lot of budget. The cast list is crazy. We got a lot of A lists, and it just looks like it's gonna be really, really good. There's a lot of really good movies that are coming next year, and I can't wait to see them. But man, I'm gonna have to go with Oppenheimer. I don't know. There could be better ones, but I'm gonna go with Oppenheimer as the best movie of next year.
Yeah, I'm also going with Oppenheimer as well. You can't go wrong with Nolan's films. It probably won't be, but you never know. But I just feel I have a good feeling about this one, though.
Same.
So yeah, that those are our most anticipated films of 2023. Next up will be our game of the year. So I'm gonna go first. My game of the year is God of War Ragnarok. I'm just gonna keep it real. I just felt that it just did everything right when it comes to a sequel. Uh, I think to me, Kratos is one of the best video game characters ever made, and anyone who says that that's false or saying that's not true, I just don't think people understand the journey of Kratos. I played the original God of War trilogy like years ago, and seeing everything that Kratos has been through, it's just really incredible what Santa Monica Studio did with this game's story and its writing. And that's really what made this game amazing, and the previous one was the story and writing. It wasn't even like all the action. The action was just kind of like icing on the cake or world building. It was just the story and the writing. What they were trying to tell is what made it amazing. I'm keeping it spoiler free, of course, but I'm really happy with how Ragnarok turned out. I love the arcs for all the characters. I love the development for all the characters, the dialogue, the world building, the gameplay. It's just one of those once in a lifetime experiences that you'll get playing a video game. And I just love the journey that I took playing these games. And I'll never forget playing God of War 1 and 2. I remember being blown away with God of War 3. I found it to be an amazing game. But yeah, Kratos is no doubt up there for me as one of the best video game characters ever. Not just with like writing, but just with everything in general. He's just up there. He's iconic. He's a badass. His story is heartbreaking. It's just a lot. So yeah, that's my game of the year for 2022. Kyle, I'll give it to you.
My game of the year is same God of War Ragnarok. I just thought this game had an excellent story, excellent characters, and really good gameplay. I mean, it was very emotional. By the end of the game, I'm obviously going to keep it spoiler free. I was ugly crying. Like I was crying my eyes out. I couldn't believe it. Mind you, I never played the original God of Wars like that. I know what happens with the plot, but I never really played like the original God of Wars like that. But seeing the journey, because I did play God of War 2018, seeing the journey from that God of War to this God of War still made me emotional because man, like Kratos has been through so much, seeing Atreus grown up, it's just a really good story, like and really good writing, and it tells some really good lessons too. Like I feel like anybody could play this and be impacted by it. Anybody who's you know feels emotions will feel something playing it. I got some honorable mentions too. I got to put a Plague Tale Requiem. If you've played the first one, you know how this one, is playing out. And wow, it was an emotional game. I was crying too by the end of that. It was very good. And another honorable mention, Horizon Forbidden West. I really enjoyed that game. It's not my favorite game ever, but I did enjoy my time a lot with Horizon Forbidden West. I liked it more than the first one, and I just thought it was a really good game. Um, and my last one, Sonic Frontiers. I haven't finished Sonic Frontiers yet, but man, playing through it, it's really fun. There's a lot of other games I can mention too, but Sonic Frontiers just really got me. It was a fun game going through it, and I just really liked it. Like I really, really liked, playing as Sonic, seeing the other characters, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, that's my list.
Yeah, so for me, I really only have two. The first one will be Horizon Forbidden West. I just love Aloy as a character, and I felt that Forbidden West deserves a lot more praise and talk. Not that it didn't, but it got overshined by other games, but it was still a great story, great gameplay. The world building was there, Aloy's journey, just everything about the game was really good. Visually, it's probably the best looking game of the year, to be honest, but that's debatable and arguable. But that's gonna be honorable mention number one. My next honorable mention is Stray. I don't know why this game was not talked about more, but this game was just so unique. It was so special to me. It took me like 5 hours to beat, but it was just one of those best. Thanks. Um, it was just one of those games where I was just blown away because it was so simple yet so effective. I love the world that they built. The gameplay was great. I got attached to the characters in the game. You play as a stray cat. Like I don't know. Like to me, Stray deserves to be talked about a lot more, praised a lot more, and I'm glad that it won Best Indie Game of the Year because it definitely deserved it from what I have played. It was just an incredible game. So those are my honorable mentions. And Ragnarok, uh, amazing game. But this will be our last topic now, and it's the DC news talk. I don't even know where to begin with this, but if you guys haven't seen, Henry Cavill is no longer Superman, which is very sad, but we'll get to that later down the line. But essentially, what's happening is the universe is getting rebooted, and I think it's the right move because there's really no cohesiveness in this universe. And the only reason why I wanted it to continue was because I was very hopeful for Henry Cavill to come back as Superman. To have a DC universe started or get going or whatever, you need Superman. He's like the face of superheroes. He is the hero when it comes to superheroes, the greatest of them all. And you could talk about all of them: Spider Man, Batman, I don't care. Superman is the greatest. And he is the face of, the DC comics. Like, I know you could say like Batman's probably more popular, but I just think Superman is just like he is the hero. So James Gunn is obviously creative head at DC with Peter Safran handling like the business aspect of it. But they brought back Henry Cavill back, but this was before James Gunn was named creative head. So the studio had Henry Cavill come back and let everyone know, like, yeah, like announce everyone that you're back, just for him to not even play this character now. And it's just like I'm upset by it. It's frustrating because as the fans, we fought so long and hard to get this man back, and Henry himself embraced the character. He knew that there was a lot of stories left to be told with him, and he got screwed over. It's just the truth. He got screwed over just like Andrew Garfield got screwed over with The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But the difference is, at least Garfield was able to come back to play the character. And then you got all these, I guess, recastings, you could say. Like, it's rumored that Jason Momoa is going to be playing Lobo now and not be Aquaman. And then you got like all these other films coming out next year, like Shazam. You got the Flash film. Uh, Blue Beetle, are they in continuity? Like, it's just a whole mess. Then Gal Gadot, she's they're not moving forward with Wonder Woman 3. Like, it's just there's just so much to be like upset and frustrated by. But another part of me is kind of happy that it's getting rebooted because it is very clear that it was going nowhere. It There was like no structure, there was like no outline or plan. And it's just a shame that this happened because they've made some really great films, in my opinion, in this universe. There was something there, but it just all went down here. Now, I know people have their issues with Zack Snyder, and listen, I'm not the biggest Snyder fan either, even though I do like his movies a lot. But the man was also screwed over too. Now, I'm not gonna excuse him either because he's the one that made the characters how they were in a sense. Like, for example, with like Batman, like Batman killed in the fucking movies or in BVS. Like, there's just no denying it. The proof is all in the film. Superman, while a great casting, I just felt like he was never really Superman that we all knew and loved the entire time, at least. I guess you can say that it was a journey, which is something I appreciated because in his version of Justice League, like Superman finally embraces being Kryptonian and being human, like, and it's just a shame because Snyder's Justice League is not canon. Uh, Ben Affleck, I thought he was a great choice for Batman. He looks exactly like Bruce Wayne from the anime series, which is the best version of Batman we've ever gotten, in my personal opinion. And that's the same version you see in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. It's the same version. So like, I don't know. It's just like heartbreaking, but I'm happy that it's getting rebooted. Now I'm fully on board now because Cavill's not coming back as Superman, and the James Gunn will be writing the next Superman film, and it's not going to be an origin story, thankfully, but it's going to be about a young Clark Kent in his early days in Metropolis, working for the Daily Planet. I'm assuming, where it's Lois Lane's gonna be involved. I hope we get a Jimmy Olsen that does not get killed off like he did in Batman vs Superman because that's his best friend. It's so weird that they chose to do that, but whatever though. But I have more thoughts, but I want Kyle to kind of say what he has to say because I know, Kyle, you kind of feel differently than I do. I mean, I know we feel the same way in a sense, but I know that it's more that you're probably more frustrated because I'm more of the optimistic, hopeful type when it comes to these type of things. But I'm gonna give it to you. Just give us your thoughts on DC, what the movies, anything, just everything that's going on. Just go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to be like this towards the DCEU, but I've always felt like there was something off about it. Like I've seen most of the DCEU movies, right? And Kelvin mentioned something earlier on. He was like cohesiveness. I don't know. I just feel like the DCEU was never cohesive like that. Like I like the actors, I like the people playing the characters. I just never felt like the DCEU had any cohesiveness. And when it comes to Zack Snyder, like I like Snyder, but like I have an issue with like a lot of the creative decisions. Like for example, I like the Man of Steel, right? But like I don't know, like Kelvin said, like I liked Henry Cavill too. Like I love him as Superman. I love him to death as Superman. I'm sad, really sad and frustrated that he's gone. But he felt a little off in the movie. Like the movie's not perfect either. I don't know. When it comes to the DCEU, it's just a lot of things, man. Like we had the whole Ezra Miller, the Flash situation, and he's doing stuff. We got the whole Batgirl situation where the movie got canceled and the Flash is still going, even though Batgirl got canceled. But now the DCEU is getting entirely rebooted. So it's like it's just like I don't know what's happening anymore, you know. Now with the reboot, if you ask me, am I on board for a complete reboot? At this point, yeah, because if they're getting rid of all these people, they have no choice but to do a reboot. You know what I'm saying? And plus, James Gunn is in charge now, so I think personally, James Gunn is going to do a fine job. Like I think he'll do a good job at getting the DCU back in check. But they are in desperate need of a reboot because the past couple movies. I mean, it's been good, but like I just think it needs a clean slate. It needs a clean slate. They need to start from scratch and start it over. And hopefully this time we'll get like the DCEU that we've all wanted. Because I thought the Snyder Cut was great, but it's just a shame that it's not canon. At least now with a reboot, they have a chance to fixing everything. And I don't know if they're gonna recast everyone because we still got DC movies coming out next year. We got Aquaman, and rumor has it that Aquaman 2 is going to end on a cliffhanger, but that movie's not gonna be canon. And then we just had Black Adam, and I don't think it's considered a spoiler because they talked about it in the news, but obviously that's where Henry Cavill made his return as Superman, and now it's he's not being Superman anymore, and Black Adam, like The Rock, is not going to be playing Black Adam anymore. So it's just like I don't really know what the plan is moving forward, but I just hope that James Gunn can bring it some type of cohesiveness. Now I completely trust him. The Guardians movies are great. Peacemaker was great. I completely trust him when it comes to writing. I just hope that I'm more like I don't want to say pessimistic, but I'm more on the side of I'm not surprised if things go wrong because, listen, it's not James Gunn I'm worried about, guys. It's Warner Brothers. If y'all know about Warner Brothers, they make some of the worst decisions known to man. And I'm just afraid that when James Gunn does get the ball rolling and does try to make a Superman movie and does try to get all these characters back, that Warner Brothers is gonna somehow try to mess with his vision and either cut out a movie or make a movie worse, and I don't want that. I just wish that sometimes, like I really feel this way when I say this, but and it may be a messed up thing to say on Warner Brothers' part, but I kind of sometimes don't wish that Warner Brothers wasn't a part of DC. Like I really wish that they were on their own because it just feels like every time the DCEU or DC things get moving, it just feels like Big Daddy Warner Brothers always has to mess with their vision, and that's why we always get like, for example, the whole BVS thing, right? You know, Snyder, I think he has a Kelvin. Is it like 30 more minutes of footage? What is the Ultimate Edition? Now, obviously, yes, it's a long movie, the Ultimate Edition, right? But like, let Zack Snyder release his vision. I'm not the biggest fan of Snyder when it comes to DC, but if you're gonna make a director make a movie, let their whole vision be taught, right? And I just hope moving forward that Warner Brothers doesn't mess with James Gunn's vision because I'm excited to see what's next, but I'm also very scared too at the same time. And that's pretty much my thoughts on the whole DCU situation. I've expressed all my frustration to Kelvin like many times, and we both know how we feel about the situation. I just hope things get better, and I want things to get better because I want to see a good Superman. I want to see a good Batman, and I want to see all these other characters because I know DC could tell good stories. DC could tell better stories than Marvel. It's just the leadership was always not there, and it was always Warner Brothers. So I just hope James Gunn and Peter Safran can bring that back. And yeah, that's what I got to say about it.
Yeah, the good thing is that James Gunn does have 100 and Peter Safran with the business aspect, so I don't think he's really gonna be interfered with what they are trying to do with this, I guess, rebooted timeline or whatever. But the reason why I'm not like, "Oh, Gunn's gonna do terrible," is because, like, James Gunn just understands comic book characters, and he's proven that time and time after again. He's done great with the Guardians films. He came out with a Guardians special. He did great with the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. I never thought I would be into a character or show like Peacemaker, yet it was a success. So I do trust James Gunn in that aspect, and I know that he has like a good relationship with a lot of the actors like Henry, Zachary Levi, The Rock, because they're like good friends with him. So if they're okay with it, then I feel like other people or the fan base should be okay with it too. But I get where everyone's coming from because, like Kyle said, with Warner Brothers, they're not really the best behind the scenes, but I think they understand that they need to let Gunn and Safran do the thing. And Peter Safran was also the producer on some of the DC films like Shazam and I think Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and those were great films. I think you could agree with me on that regard.
Mhm. Oh yeah, of
But
course.
yeah, so I do trust Gunn. I'm not as, "Oh, like, it's gonna be bad," or whatever. I'm more on the hopeful and optimistic side of those things, but it's kinda weird to me because, like and I'm going into, like, Black Adam because I think Black Adam was, like, probably the film they were trying to use to, like, kinda, like, revive in a sense, even though I feel like their movies have been good recently. That's just personal opinion, but it's like The Rock, he kept advocating for this movie, saying that the hierarchy is gonna change, and this is, like, not a spoiler, but this man's really spoiled the return of Superman. Like, he was never saying, like, Superman's name or whatever, but it was just, like, the strongest force, and it's, like, he literally spoiled the post-credit scene, which is kind of funny to me, but at the time, it didn't even matter because when I saw the post-credit scene, I was, like, really happy to see this man back as Superman because we fought so hard for him, and it's, like, he just got screwed over again, and it's heartbreaking, but there the DC timeline, the DC extended universe, I don't even think they call it that. That's just what the fans call it. Man of Steel I thought was a great, like, first movie for that universe. Really, it was really supposed to be Green Lantern, the one with Ryan Reynolds, but that flopped so badly that they just decided not to move on with that, so Man of Steel was the first film. Snyder was attached, and I remember covering, like, the news and seeing, like, the photos released and the trailers because they were very inspiring trailers. I was like, "Damn, this movie looks very promising." And Hans Zimmer was the composer for the film, so it was, like, very special. I remember the trailers, the set photos. Cavill just looked perfect as the character. I was all for it. I remember loving the film, and I think at that time back in 2013, I a part of me feels like that was, like, kinda like the Superman film we needed because I don't think Superman was really taken that seriously. I think they just looked at him as, like, the Boy Scout, goody two shoes and etcetera, but I think we kinda needed that interpretation of Superman at the time, and then obviously we got the sequel to Batman vs Superman, and as Kyle's mentioned, like, yeah, the Ultimate Edition, it is definitely the definitive version of that movie. It is better than the theatrical version. I know you haven't seen it, but the 30 minutes of footage that is in the Ultimate Edition, it really does help make the movie a lot better. I'm not saying it's amazing, but it answers a lot of the plot holes, and a lot things are makes more sense and more cohesive in that film. Justice League was originally supposed to be 2 parts, but then that got scrapped, and Snyder was, directing, the Justice League film, and I remember, like, they let, like, press, like, come onto the set of the Justice League and all that stuff to, like, let people know that, like, everything was good, but unfortunately, Snyder's daughter committed suicide, and Snyder was working on the film to kind of deal with it, but then ultimately he decided to leave the project, uh, because no parent deserves to ever lose a daughter. I don't know. I think she was adopted, but I'm not too sure though. But like that's sad. Like, and even in the Snyder's version, it says it was for his daughter, and I can't lie, the movie turned out amazing. But yeah, he backed out, and they got Joss Whedon, director of the first two Avengers film, and I thought at the time that was a good choice because he directed the Avengers. Both of them made over $1 billion. I thought it was a good choice, but behind the scenes, things were not so great. There was so much drama, and the studio mandated that the movie be under 2 hours just so they could get an extra paycheck. And they decided to do all these reshoots because Cavill was filming, I believe, one of the Mission Impossible films, but on the contract, he couldn't shave his mustache. So unless Warner Bros. Gave them the money to where they could like remove the CGI, like the mustache or something, like they weren't gonna do it, and they decided not to, like agree to the terms, and they decided to just digitally remove his mustache from Justice League, and it just looks so terrible. Like that's the whole meme with Superman from Justice League, and it's just a whole mess. But Snyder really got screwed over because I think everyone could agree that Snyder's Justice League is the definitive Justice League film. It's the only Justice League film we have in terms of live action, but he was
Yeah.
screwed over. There was issues behind the scenes. I don't know what the heck is going on, but uh I just know that with DC, things look to be much brighter now that Gunn is involved, and he has been 100% transparent and open with the fandom. He's been answering their questions. He hasn't been like hiding behind doors, whatever. Like he's been straight up honest with the fans, like and letting them know, like and keeping us updated, like on every little thing, which I appreciate, and it has been more than whatever Warner Bros. Has given us since Man of Steel, which is crazy to think about.
And I
But go ahead.
Yeah, and I appreciate. Sorry for interrupting you, Kevin, but yeah, I appreciate James Gunn doing that because he's had to put up with a lot, and with this is not a diss to Jack Zack Snyder, excuse me, but a lot of his fandom can be really toxic, and like I don't know if you guys have been on Twitter recently, but like I've been seeing sometimes hashtag fire James Gunn, which is really funny to me because it's like James Gunn's only been there for not even like what 2 months. What has he only been there for like a month? And people are already saying fire James Gunn. It's like we haven't even seen like what he's done yet. This is just him cleaning up the mess that Warner Brothers made and Snyder sort of with the whole DCEU. I mean, he has to start somewhere. He's trying to make it cohesive. So as much as I don't like a lot of things that's happening, I trust him to make it better. I just feel like we need to see more of his vision before people go to, oh, he needs to be fired. Like it's like firing an employee who just started working at a grocery store and he hasn't even like stocked shelves yet. Like he just walked in the door. Like, why are you firing him? You haven't seen how he worked yet. You give the man a chance. Give the man a chance. And I think Zachary Levi even said it. Give him a chance. Give him a chance before you start trashing on someone. You gotta give people chances before you know you start criticizing. Now if James Gunn ends up making it even worse than like people like Snyder, then yeah, obviously go ahead and criticize him because obviously he proved us wrong. But like, let's give the man a chance first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to add on to that too, I want to talk about like the picture that was online with it was Henry Cavill's Superman with like James Gunn's head like ripped off. Like
Ay, ay,
you
ay.
guys are seriously twisted sick people for you guys to think that it's okay to post something like that. That is not within Superman's character. Superman would never do that to anyone. I know he's fictional, but like the fact that y'all like just posted that is just not okay. It's graphic. It could be triggering for a lot of people, and I don't find that type of thing funny at all. The fact that y'all would post something like that. Listen, like many of you, I'm also upset too that Cavill's no longer playing Superman. Kyle could tell you, I've been wanting this man back for the longest time ever, and it's
Ever since I met
unfortunate.
him, he's talked
It's
about wanting him back.
Yeah, I'm heartbroken by, it, but that's not funny to like post something like that. James Gunn is a human being. He's a person, and it's like it's not his fault for what has happened at Warner Bros. Behind the scenes with DC and all these other things, like like the mergers with like Discovery, like that's not his fault. Like, so for people to say fire James Gunn, like he hasn't even done anything wrong yet. Like, yeah, he said that we're gonna get like a new Superman film, whatever, but it's not his fault for what happened. And for people to be posting that, I just find it very sick. But you could give your thoughts on that.
It's disgusting. Like you said, it's absolutely disgusting. I can't believe like these are people who are fans of people like Superman. Do you guys honestly, seriously think Henry Cavill wants you to do something like this? No. So why would you do it? You know, like things like death threats and threatening people, doxing people over fictional characters. Yes, these characters mean a lot, but at the end of the day, these are fictional characters. James Gunn is a real human being. Henry Cavill is a real human being, and they have feelings and they have thoughts. For y'all to post something like that and to think it's not gonna affect them is some really sick shit. It really is. Like Calvin said, we're dealing with human beings. You don't do stuff like that. You just don't do stuff like that. And I saw that pic before Calvin, and to be fair with you guys, I didn't really know what it was. Like it's one of those things like you guys know when you see something, but you don't really think about it. It wasn't until I saw it again, and I was just like, oh. What? Because I saw I didn't even know what was going on in the pair. I literally thought it was a comic cover. Like I thought it was just like fan art or something. But then I looked deeper into it and I was like, yeah, that's not okay. And shame on the person who did that. You honestly should be ashamed of yourself, and you need to get your browser checked because you're a sick person. You're just a sick person, and don't leave anybody within 10 feet of them. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, me and Kyle, we do not condone that type of behavior at all. And I just wanted to kind of spread some light on that. But we're gonna talk about one last thing, and that's Henry Cavill as Superman. Kyle, I'm gonna just let you talk about how you feel about Henry Cavill as Superman and whatever the case may be when it comes to the character.
Oh, okay. Look, Henry Cavill, I think he's a great actor in general. I've always loved him. He's a good dude. He helps charity and stuff like that. But as Superman, I think he was really, really, really good. Now, I have issues with how his Superman is sometimes, but like that has nothing to do with Cavill. It's the writing. Like when I talk bad about like things like Batman versus Superman, it's never the actors. It's always the writing that I cannot stand. But like Henry Cavill as Superman, I thought he was an amazing Superman. He looks like Superman. Even though, like, yes, I said earlier that he wasn't like he felt off in Man of Steel, but I still like he still felt like Superman. I just thought he was a great choice to be Superman. And when I heard that, he left, I thought it was a parody. I didn't even think it was real because the Black Adam post credit scene literally just happened 2 months ago. Me and Kelvin went to the theater and we saw that 2 months ago. And not even a year later, not even 3 months later, he's already out. It just felt very heartbreaking. Even me myself, like Kelvin's a bigger Superman fan than me. I mean, he's a bigger superhero fan than me, but like even me, like I wanted him to come back so bad because like the last movie I saw with him in it was the Justice League, and I thought it was trash. Now, the Snyder Cut was amazing, but like it's not canon. So when I heard the rumors that like he might be coming back in Black Adam, I got excited, and then I was really excited when I saw him in the post credit scene. I was like, wow, he looks good. I can't wait to see the future with him. And now he's not coming back. It's heartbreaking, but hey, they could always get a younger actor to maybe even do a better job. But as of right now, I think Henry Cavill is probably my favorite adaptation. Now, Christopher Reeve might be a little bit above Cavill, just a little bit. They may be equal, or Cavill may be above a little bit. But I think Christopher Reeve and Henry Cavill are some of the best interpretations in film that we've had, live action film we've had of Superman, and they were just really good. And as sad as I am that Henry Cavill is not playing Superman anymore, I hope the next person does a really good job. I really do.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Henry Cavill, for playing Superman Clark Kent Kal-El.
Shout out to
I
you.
remember when he was casted and it was announced. I remember seeing the teaser trailer when I went to see The Dark Knight Rises in theaters. So I remember being super excited for that. I just I'm very thankful that I got to see Henry play this amazing character. And while it wasn't at the greatest in terms of writing, I just felt that Henry really embraced Superman in all the best ways possible, and I feel like he did the best he could with the character. I am going to remain hopeful and optimistic because maybe someday Cavill could come back in like in a No Way Home type of sense. I don't know, but it would be really cool if he came back to the character one last time. It's a shame that the last time we saw him was in a post credit scene, but he did look good in that suit though. I can't lie, but regardless, like he embraced the character, he understood the character, he knew what Superman meant to society, to the fans, and I think that he did the best he could with the role. He was really good. He looked like the character. He was the perfect actor to play the character. But yeah, thank you for playing the greatest superhero of them all. And that's pretty much all I have to say with that. So that'll be the end of this unnamed session discussion
Oh,
podcast.
Kelvin, did you want to mention the most anticipated games?
Uh, Spider-Man 2. I got nothing else to say for
For
that.
yeah, I think it's the same for me. But I gotta put one game above it, and this is my favorite game of all time. Resident Evil 4 remake. I'm not gonna get into why, but like I love Resident Evil 4. I grew up with it as a kid. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I I damn near cried when I saw the um what's it called, the teaser trailer back in June. I couldn't believe it. It looked like I was looking at something that wasn't real. Like it felt like a dream, and it still feels like a dream every time I look at it. But yeah, Resident Evil 4 remake, and yeah, Spider-Man 2. I can't wait for Spider-Man 2. Enough said. It's Spider-Man 2. But yeah, those are my most anticipated of next year.
Yeah, Kyle, feel free to plug in your accounts.
Oh, well, my accounts, well, my Twitter is KCave1. That's my Twitter. My Snapchat is Kyle's the Man Too. My Discord is Kyle's the Man Too. My Snapchat is Kyle's the Man Too. My PSN is Lucky Guy 68342. I don't have Xbox. Sorry, guys. Um, and that's about it. I think my Steam is KK2. I have to check back to my Steam, but yeah, that's pretty much all the major things I use.
And do not worry, guys. I will make sure to also put it in the description box below in case you guys couldn't like hear all that out. But yeah, thank you for joining our your little session. We hope that you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully, your Christmas turned out well, and hopefully, you guys will enjoy more of these discussions that we do. I want to say thank you, much love to you all, and hopefully, 2023 will be a great year for all of us. Any last words, Kyle?
Yeah, I hope 2023 is a good year. We got a lot of good things to look forward to: games, movies, everything, life in general. I just hope. I'm very excited for next year. I'm very excited for my school semester. I'm very excited for life. I'm just excited about next year, and I'm ready for 2022 to be over, pretty much. And my birthday's in 2 days too, so yeah.
Make sure you comment happy birthday in the comment section.
Thank you guys if you do that.
All right, so thank you very much. Much love to you all, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Peace, y'all.